Question. How do we call?
He gave us a signal.
What is up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? It is your boy Trey at the Bat Channel. We are live once again because the sirens are going off, ladies and gentlemen, and we are under a weather advisory with our spoiler review of the Hollywood upset known as Twisters. Oh my God, do we have a lot to talk to you guys about tonight, because this movie I think is shaking things up. A storm is brewing, you know. So to have everyone here checking out this stream with us, hello everybody. Hope you're doing all well. We got a cool show for you guys tonight. Well, let's go ahead and get through all the pleasantries as normal. But guys, you can follow us on one of our social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at @the_Bat Channel. And if you're still over on Facebook at Holy Bat Channel, it's a great way to just get in touch with us, maybe find out what's going on in our personal lives, or, you know, tell us what's going on in your life, or sending us some really freaking cool articles like some of you have already about some of the content that we're covering. And, you know, like we've used for our spoiler breakdowns with Star Wars The Acolyte, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, with the new Rebirth movie coming out that Gareth Edwards is directing. Just get in touch with us. We love hearing from you guys outside of the whole realm of YouTube. So, and as always, it helps us out so much when you guys smash that like, you share this video, and you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because guys, we have some really cool shows for you guys coming up, but we also have some really cool shows that maybe you've missed, like, for instance, our Rebel Moon trailer reaction, the R-rated cut, the director's cut that is coming out August 2nd on Netflix. We will be doing a watch party for that movie, so be on the lookout for that. Last night, we did our Ghostbusters Frozen Empire review. That was a great time, just talking about just how wonderfully surprising that movie was. And how it just shows that there's definitely a bright future for the Ghostbusters franchise, even after 40 years. And of course, if you haven't seen Twisters yet, you need to go, see the movie. It's out in theaters. Don't waste time. Just go see it. It's wonderful in theaters. If you need more convincing, go check out our spoiler-free review with the Wonder Wife and I. It's just a great way to see, is it worth seeing in theaters? What type of experience should you see it in? I recommend Dolby personally, but yeah, check that out, because tonight we're spoiling it. And then, of course, we did our Twister watch party where you guys helped us raise money for the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, helping out all the families, especially this year, over 1,300 tornadoes. We're going to be helping out those folks who've been dealing with this crazy year of Twisters. And I see Trevor H already coming in with a $5 super chat. I'll just go ahead and say it now. So any super chats that are made during this stream, we're just going to put right to where the watch party super chats went during Twisters, to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. So thank you for adding on to that, Trevor H. I appreciate it. He's saying, if you feel it, chase it. Yes, you already know, brother. And then, of course, guys, when you hit that notification bell, you'll also get links, a little notification to our upcoming shows like the Deadpool and Wolverine review, spoiler free and spoiler review that we'll do this weekend. And this Sunday, we're doing a watch party to the 25th anniversary of one of my favorite shark movies of all time, Deep Blue Sea. It's always on my Shark Week marathon list. You already know. And then, of course, Batman Cape Crusader, which is coming out on Amazon August 1st. I think we'll do a watch party to that as well. But I'll be releasing the reaction next week as we gear up for that really cool series that's coming out on Amazon. So hit that notification bell. And without further ado, let me bring out the best co-host I could ever ask for. Super Bro Corey, how's it going, big fella?
If you feel it, chase it! I said if you feel it, chase it!
If you feel it,
Chase it.
Trevor H, that is for you, my friend. You pumped me up when you put that $5 super chat in there. If you feel it, chase it. Man, am I excited to talk about this movie, dude. Yeah, I've been I'm not gonna lie, I was actually a little bummed on Monday when you're like or on Sunday when you're like, hey Corey, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire comes out on Monday, and think about switching up the show schedule this week. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a few more days until I can talk about it. I love it, man. I saw it twice this weekend.
I was just gonna say, I gave you time to go see it again, which you did, and you actually took Mom.
And bro, guess what? Obviously, we need to talk about how to see it, and you have to. It's a must. It's a must that you see it in theaters. That's an absolute must. But bro, I saw some people who did the 4D thing. We may have to play it short of that because it looks phenomenal in 4D. But so I'm going to try to get up to Montana and maybe catch it in Adobe once before it leaves theaters. And buddy, I got excited because the drive-in movie theater near me announced that it's coming to the drive-in here in a couple of weeks as well. And what better way to see a Twisters movie in a drive-in? So I am super.
I feel like you're just asking for trouble at that time.
Well, if you feel it, Trey, chase it. At least I know what to do in a Twister tornado scenario when you're at a.
Hope to God they have like a parking garage that you can go under and hope no like little spinning rim, hits your head. I don't know if that's gonna work, Corey. I mean, especially don't go to see it if The Shining is playing anywhere. I just leave, get out of there.
Here's Johnny.
Thank you so much again, Trevor H, for your $5 super chat. That will be going to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund, brother. I appreciate it.
You gotta play
just do it.
Feel it, chase it! I said if you feel it, chase it!
Every time that pops up, that's if you feel it, chase it. That's the super chat for that. So, man, but hey, Trey, before we dive too further in, we got so busy with how busy our week has been, obviously working full-time jobs and preparing for shows, that I just realized that yesterday was our 4-year anniversary of the Bat Channel. So congratulations, Trey. 4 years since the very first, welcome to the Bat Channel, your main hub for all things Batman, YouTube, where it all began. So congratulations, Trey. Yeah, man. Sorry I missed it. I was preparing for like other things like seeing Twisters again, but yeah, man. Super excited for you.
It almost doesn't feel like 4 years. I mean, super excited for us. That's crazy to.
Right.
I'm sorry we didn't do anything. I mean, we did Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. That was fun. We'll call that a celebration stream.
I think we may have to do like a 4-year type, like review, like talk or something one of these days this month before it's over. So we'll have to.
We'll see what we can do. Sorry, God, even I forgot. Where's the time gone? Seriously, the month kind of just went by like that. We've been so busy this week just doing all these shows. I mean, we've been nonstop since. Have we been nonstop since Saturday? We did 2 shows on Saturday.
Well, and if you think about, we saw Twisters on Friday, so that yes, it was fun. But we trying to get you shot on Friday night, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I shot on Friday nights. So
we may have been gone for a little bit now. So yeah, man.
Wow.
Hey guys, Twisters Cup again. Absolutely, he does.
Yeah, of course. Of course I have to have the Twisters Write It Out cup with me today.
Mm.
You already know. Mm. That's delicious too. Man, yeah, crazy.
drinking
What's that?
What are you drinking?
It's one of those I don't even know what they call it. It's like one of those hydration packets. Or where they call it, the hydration IV thing.
What?
With but it's like the American popsicle flavor. I don't even know what they call that. The
What?
Patriot popsicle.
A bomb pop?
Is that what they call it? A bomb pop?
Yeah. Red Hood Outlaws to do a legit 4-year celebration.
All right.
I think we're going to have to.
Yeah, maybe we will. Wow, that's crazy.
Thank you, guys.
Didn't even think about it. Yeah, that's very kind of you guys to wish us a happy 4-year anniversary. Really, it honestly does not feel like it's been 4 years. So it's kind of, I don't know. I'm sure it'll hit me a little later on after we finish the show tonight. But
you know what should be in that Twister drink tray? I'm a little upset with you. It should be a, there's a hurricane beverage. Is there a tornado or Twister drink?
I'm sure there is.
Looking it up
I wouldn't deny it at all, but yeah, man. I don't know. So, Corey.
Thanks, Beyond the Night. We'll do we'll really appreciate that, my friend. Like we mentioned, we'll probably do a 4-year celebration at some point. So yeah, man, it's pretty exciting, pretty crazy, dude. There's a lot of reflection that we have to do, and yeah, man, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's crazy, it's surreal. And yet I kind of feel like there's still a lot more for us to go. So appreciate you guys all being here. Corey, can you play Beyond the Night, a little something to say thank you for that $5 super chat?
You don't face your fears. You ride them.
Yeah. We need an inaugural show watch party. Okay. Oh gosh. Once again, guys, your super chats, we're just gonna make it go because it's a Twisters show. We're just gonna make it go. All your super chats are gonna go to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. So thank you so much, Oracle. I appreciate it.
Closing in on close to 200 now at this point.
Maybe, yeah. I think
we're 100. So this is awesome, man.
Yeah, that's crazy,
buddy.
Thank you so much, Oracle.
Gosh, I should play Oracle another one, but I know which one she wants me to play. You know which one she wants me to play, Trey.
I'm sure I know. It probably has something to do with Glenn Powell.
Yeah, so do I play it again? I played the Glenn Powell ones.
For her, go ahead. Give her 2, Corey. Give her 2.
Okay, we'll just do back to back.
You feel it? Chase it! I said if you feel it, chase it!
You don't face your fears. You ride them.
We're gonna have to get some more Glenn super chats.
Apparently, maybe add a few from Top Gun Maverick, the one where he's shirtless for all the ladies out there. I saw a great TikTok where someone was like going to see Twisters for the plot, and the plot is just Glenn Powell, walking out in his white t-shirt, the rain hitting.
Oh my gosh!
And I was just like, yeah, that's. I understand. That's fair. He's a charming dude. Corey, are you
Sarah and Mom all say like the best parts were Glenn Powell, in the movie. So it's like,
right? She literally says to me as we're driving home, she's just like, she's like, I know you're gonna hate this, but I think Glenn Powell's like my new celebrity crush. I was like, shit. Like, here we go. I mean, the dude's on top of the world right now. I understand. I get it.
I am good.
I am good. Corey, are you ready to just go ahead and let's get into this?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Let's talk about the theme that is most important. And the reason I really emphasize this is because it's going to be part of our discussion. If you're like, Trey, I saw a few people in the chat saying, like, why are you calling this the Hollywood upset? How is this the Hollywood upset?
Well, they have been asking that, Trey. Matter of fact, Darth Starkiller says, "Why do you keep calling this film an upset? It did really well in the box office and has been praised by the audience." So Trey, tell us, what do you mean by the upset?
I will in due time.
Oh my God!
I think
Cliffhanger.
it's something we have to save because this is going to be a huge part of why we're calling it the Hollywood upset. Why we're giving it this title. And a lot of it has to do with the story. We always talk about how important it is to put the story first. When you put the story first and you make a good story, nothing else in there, just a damn good story. This is where a film gets to succeed and shine in the way it should. So coming off of the nostalgic love that we have for the original Twister, you knew that one of the big things they were going to have to deliver on was captivating the audience the way they did before, creating that threat level of natural disasters like a tornado, dealing with those tragedies and overcoming them. And not only that, the thrill of adventure, the thrill of the thrill seeking of, doing storm chasing. And that's what made the first 1996 film with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt so good. It had that sense of adventure. It also had that fear, that horror for Mother Nature's wrath. And I would say this film kicks us off right where we left off with the original Twisters. Corey, would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, dude. This movie did a great job of bringing you right in the thick of it again, with a whole new cast. So absolutely, Trey.
Was there anything in particular, like in terms of like, did you go into this movie like, I have some check boxes they gotta hit in terms of the story?
So I would have, Trey. I would have had a checkbox. But here's the thing. We caught it early on that they said right from the beginning that this is not a true sequel. This is a sequel spin-off where we're in the same universe, but it's its own thing. So right then and there, while I was a little bummed to hear that, I immediately, all my expectations and my checkboxes went away. Okay,
so you were completely going in blank slate, just show me what you got, Twisters.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Out of curiosity, because of that mentality, when you got in there, what were some of the story points that you felt like this film really delivered for you?
Where to begin?
Where to begin? Meaning that there's a lot.
Yes. I thought that it was a fun ride the entire way. Like the one thing about the original Twister movie was it's very a nostalgia film for us because we watched it numerous times with Dadpool. We rode the ride numerous times, so we know that that's Dad's one of favorite movies. So it's when it's on, we watch it. So it's an enjoyable film. So I think what I was looking for here was something that would bring you right back into the craziness of chasing tornadoes. I was definitely curious to see more of the scientific side of things, some of the stuff that we've learned since tornadoes back then. I think I saw was it you, Trey, who posted it, or was it somebody else that I saw where back when the original Twister movie came out, they had a 5-minute warning lead time before a tornado hit a town, where now it's like at 15 minutes. So clearly technology has advanced over the years and the warning times have gotten a little bit better, but still in reality, 15 minutes is still not much time to get to a safe space as well. So, seeing the new technology was important. Some of the, maybe the myths of, things not to do during a tornado was important to see. That obviously the way the world has changed since Twister, the original movie, it's not just really scientists chasing the storms nowadays. It's we have tornado wranglers in real life, aka Reed Timmer, that is going out there and actually chasing these storms and such like that as well. So seeing the tornado chasers be a part of the film was important as well. I'm trying to think what else. You know, being able to have that eerie vibe, like we've talked about before, Trey, with the ride, and how it feels when you see that tornado in the dark or that flash of lightning, and then now you see it, and just being that like that sense of awe and like just like that uneasiness that the tornado provides to you was important as well. So I'm sure you're going to be going step by step into each like kind of the storyline. So I didn't want to dive into like each individual part quite yet, but
actually I wasn't. I didn't really want this to be our typical breakdown to it. So this is very just flowing. We're just talking about things that maybe you really enjoyed about the story, or maybe things that didn't quite work for you that you wish they expanded upon.
Perfect. You know? So then I'll dive a little bit deeper into that then. So one of the things that we were kind of wondering right from the get-go, Trey, was if there was going to be any man-made tornado messing around with this movie, and there was an aspect to it because they were trying to tame a tornado. So I thought that was a really cool side of it. You know, obviously with the different, you know, Project HARP and all these other things that, you know, government, you know, is doing cloud seeding, which was mentioned in the film itself. The way that, you know, the government's kind of playing with weather and such like that. I thought that was going to be kind of a deeper row into it, but it was really cool to see the way it was tamed. I thought that the interaction between the scientists and the actual YouTube guys and chasers were great. One of the things that the director actually said was when he'd consult his science team about tornadoes and everything like that, and he admitted one time that he was watching a lot of YouTube videos about tornado chasing and everything like that, and immediately right from the get-go the scientists were like, oh, those guys are stupid, they get in the way and different things like that. So he was actually seeing some of the actual real life tension there, so he kind of was careful with what he said to the scientists and such like that. But, you know, I actually looked into the director quite a bit. Lee Isaac Chung. Yeah. He is a really fascinating guy. So he, you know, was a director that moved to Arkansas with his parents from Korea. And they experienced their first tornado right away, like shortly after they moved there. So they didn't have the storm shelter. They were in like a mobile home. So their dad, you know, got hit, put them in the truck and as a 4-year-old, and they drove away and then found like an underground low area shelter hide. So that pool scene, you know, where they go into the pool, I was like, oh man, that's really great how they kind of did that as well. Overall, as far as the entire story, because I want to get you to jump in a little bit as well, but I think they did a fantastic job with opening up the opening sequence of chasing the tornado. Kate having issues with the way it worked. You know, at first I was wondering like, oh, did they, you know, grow this tornado to an F5? And, you know, watching them, you know,
I thought the same thing. That I thought that's what they were leaning into, especially with having her friend Javi come in from a military background, that maybe we were going to learn somehow it was militarized in a way, her mix, to create these tornadoes, but they didn't quite go that route. And I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I feel like that gets into like a real B movie, you know, sci-fi thing going on, which this stayed very grounded and within this realm of twisters. I think it's a direction they could go to,
I think,
in the future, but I agree with you on that, Corey. I thought that was very interesting.
So opening it up, it was a great way they opened it up with the you know, Kate and the crew. It was awesome seeing you know, her, you know, actually talk about, you know, like, oh, you know, the underpass, that's like the most horrible spot to be in a tornado, and sure enough, that's true. People get sucked right out of that. You know, that's there's that possibility there as well. Oh, cool. Starkiller Unleashed has seen Reed Timmer. Absolutely. That's exactly who we were thinking the entire time.
Yeah.
So then when they kind of bring it to the real life and they're kind of, trying to bring her back, I thought that was a great way to kind of bring her back with the military aspect of the technology and kind of showing how technology is advanced and how these radars can show, these perfect images, 3D imaging of tornadoes, but they needed her help to get right in front of it. And then seeing Glenn Powell come in quickly into the mix. And there was kind of this love-hate relationship right from the get-go with them. And, again, they kind of pushed them off like, oh, ew, they're the YouTubers, like we don't want to talk to some jerky YouTubers that think they're know-it-alls and don't really know the science of it all. And boy, did Glenn Powell commit to that portion of the role. He looked like he was directed to annoy her, and it was a great start to it all. And it almost had me a little worried too, because being a Reed Timmer fan, I was like, oh, Reed Timmer's not a jerk, he gets a little feisty and spicy on his channel and everything like that, but he's not a jerk. So I was kind of worried about that from the YouTuber stance. And then they perfectly showed what they were doing, that they were raising money with the shirts and everything like that to feed the people, to help give relief to the people, similar to like what we would have done, Trey, if we were tornado chasers as a YouTube channel.
I'm so glad you actually brought up that part, Corey, because I mentioned this on our spoiler-free review with Wonder Wife, where I said I didn't realize how, it was more evident to me of like when there's good storytelling going on, because I didn't want to bring it up because I don't like to compare things really, but watching a show like The Acolyte, where the storytelling was lackluster and just left you disappointed, especially with all the questions you have and the answers, and kind of revealing that the pacing of it. I loved how this movie told this story of where I almost was in the beginning when they were kind of showing that YouTuber versus, the private business kind of thing going on. I was like, really? Is this really the direction they're going to go with? They're going to try to say these YouTubers, like Reed Timmer, are these guys are the ones getting in the way. These are the ones who are benefiting and profiteering off of people's disasters and tragedies. And which that is not really Twister, right? As we saw in our watch party, it was very much about how the corporations were, the dicks, storm chasing it all, and the ones who are doing it for the wrong reasons, they're doing it for the fame. And it was the little guys, right? Like Helen Hunt's team, who are trying to they had, it was personal for them. They wanted to help people. And I was like, wow, did this really flip in this movie? It's like, I'm not sure how you feel about this. And let her know the big reveal kind of in the middle of the movie is that Glenn Powell's team, Tyler Owens, they're the ones who, they are the Midwestern Americans who deal with this every day. They're the ones that actually, it's a personal mission for them to help those who have been hit by twisters, not this private corporation is using people's tragedies to benefit from them. So when they gave us that little bit of it's keeping you on the edge of seat, right? It's keeping you hanging on and you're kind of ticked off by it, but to have that flip and the truth revealed, I was like, you guys get some major points for that, because that was you had me hanging on the edge of my seat with just questioning that. So kudos to the writers on that one.
Right. And go figure, the scientists are trying to get funded and keep their investors happy. So, it was a great flip to that. So that was a lot of fun. I think that, the way Kate and Tyler's relationship grew over the course of the time with the story, I think that worked out. I think that worked perfectly, because it was almost like what she was holding back in herself as a storm chaser, as a scientist, Glenn was projecting, in high def, so it was cool to see Glenn and Tyler, help set Kate free, if that makes sense. Because when they finally, got to the end, she was finally, able to be herself again and find herself again. And the only way that was made possible was because
to
of
find the
Glenn's
root
character.
and to find the heart, the flame that ignited this passion with her in the first place, right? Like, yes, she comes from a place of tragedy and how she's lost because of this mission of her and how her guilt, and he's able to kind of put in that realism, but also that sense of, childlike wonder again, because he has so much fun with it. He respects the awesome power of the Twister, Tyler Owens' character, but at the same time, that childlike wonder, that childlike imagination of like, why is this funnel happening in the middle of the road? Why is it so powerful? And that curiosity, that is infectious to her, that eventually she's able to live again. As kids we see, she's not able to sleep at night. She's having night terrors and almost unwilling to move on, and to chase the dream that could really help people. Oh my God.
Did you say chase the dream, Trey? This is for you,
dream.
Wonder Wife, and all the ladies out there.
If you feel it, chase it! I said if you feel it, chase it!
I feel genuinely hurt.
I love it, dude. I love it. You don't chase the dream, Trey. You're right.
Tell me you love me, Sarah. Just tell me you're mine, and Glenn's not going to take you from me.
But yeah, so like, the Twisters were fantastic all throughout the movie. I really appreciate Lee Chung's decision because the studio wanted them to film in Georgia because they thought would be cheaper, and Lee was.
But before we go too much into the director, because we're actually going to talk about him on that, so let's stay. I want you to hold that thought because I like where you're going with it, but let's stay focused on the story aspect of this.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So like, so to continue on what I was going to say, Trey.
Oh, sorry. It wasn't directly towards the director. Go ahead.
No. So what I was going to say was he had some important things that he wanted to do to maintain the true story. So Georgia wasn't going to work for him. He wanted this to be based out of Oklahoma, so he could have these really, rustic scenes and everything like that in there. So by doing so, he was able to, exactly, let SBC speak. So by doing that, he was able to, back off on some of the budgeting for the visual effects and all the other stuff that he would have to put in by being able to film in Oklahoma. But some things that I learned about what the director, some of his inspirations to create this wonderful story. Obviously with his, past of living in Arkansas and having that, genuine fear of tornadoes since he had that experience when he was 4, he also created a book, like a storybook of different things that he wanted to focus on. So the yellow barrels in that contained the dust and everything like that. That was a nod to Jaws. So that's why he used those yellow barrels, because he wanted to make it feel like it was a monster, kind of symbolize the tornado.
I didn't even think about that in terms of, just kind of film inspiration, because I remember looking at it going that's kind of like a Jaws thing, but it never occurred to me that was actually intentional, and that makes me love it all the more.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool.
And then another thing that he was thinking about doing is obviously he wanted that, moment of the drive-in movie theater, right? He needed his moment. And originally they were actually talking about doing a baseball scene. And I wonder if that's what the baseball scene towards the end is. So they thought about doing a baseball sequence, but he with his actual real life experience of him living in Tornado Alley and everything like that, He said, no, it should be a rodeo. So they switched it to the rodeo. So I'm
Smart.
really glad that they added the rodeo aspect to it, because that was such a beautiful sequence. I loved the rodeos portion of the story.
And honestly, you want to talk about like total mayhem, like what a like a horrible time for just so many people to be out. That right there, it not only does it encompass Midwest, Western America of Tornado Alley, it just, you could feel the chaos, almost like watching a kaiju movie and the monster's just about to obliterate a city full of people,
Right, dude? Like, we were just at like Deadpool, Super Batmom, and I were just at a rodeo a few weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago. So it's like, man, you see that, and you're like, oh man, like, what would you do during that situation? Because where you're parked, how far are you parked away, where are you going to go hide, what's the the emergency management side of things, running through your head and everything like that. So you got that aspect as well. What else did I wanted to say? Oh yes. So there were a lot of movies and things that the director loves and had to kind of interjected some of the ideas of stories into his story, but the big one, like, and I'm going to talk about two a little bit later when we get into like the special effects and everything like that, because he looked at two movies specifically for the special effects side of things. But when it came to like Glenn Powell and Kate, or I keep saying Glenn Powell, Tyler and Kate's love relationship. One of the things that the director was actually listening to the soundtrack nonstop, as well as made all the actors watch, was the movie Fire of Love. So super interesting, right? Yeah. So, and that is what inspired Kate to kind of be a photographer in that movie and Twisters as well. So super, super interesting with the way he did. I think overall he hit the nail on the head with this movie. And I don't know if this is a good point to start to talk about specifically with the story train. And if it's not, you can stop me. But I think my general theme with this movie and just my overall thoughts is this should be the example. This should be the poster child. This should be what everybody looks back to when they want to take an IP and create it and make it their own. No spin-offs, or excuse me, no like we're going to use some of the same characters and interject our own things to make them to be in our show. Specifically looking at G. Leslie Headland with the Acolyte, trying to force stuff. This was all perfectly well done to take an IP and turn it into your own story and still respect the past. I think it's a standalone film that did a great job, and it should be a poster movie for how to handle, like, hey, I think I could come up with a really cool Twisters movie, and this is what I'd like to do. So this is the way it's done, Trey.
This is the way, legit me.
Do you know what the budget was, by the way?
I do not. I'm not sure what the budget. If I had to guess, it had to be at least. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 180 million. Is there? Oh, it's 155. Million. 155.
Oh, 200. I say 200 million.
No, I just saw it on IMDb. They're saying 150. Okay. So even less than what something like the Acolyte cost, and this was far superior already. Yeah, man. I think everything you would want in this story for a film by itself, right? Characters that actually go on journeys and give good, credible time to each of those characters that you're introducing, like Tyler Owens, like Kate's character, and even someone like Javi. I felt like was very, very intriguing, and they kept me engaged throughout. I cared about these characters, especially Kate, as she's trying to figure it out and to learn to live again, and to also see Tyler Owens. Like, you could tell they're playing a bit of a cat and mouse game between his character and Kate's character, with, you know, he's trying to see, like, okay, is she messing with me? Does she really know what she's talking about? Like, I know I'm not going to show all my cards to her. And he's almost testing her to see if she's just some new college girl helping out with the private business, you know, the fancy tech guys, or if she's legit. And I loved that so much, that playfulness that they did, but also having the seriousness of showing truly the disasters that these tornadoes can cause and the people affected by it. It felt, Corey, I said this during my spoiler-free review, I couldn't help but get emotional a couple of times when you saw the aftermath of a tornado, and there's these people being helped, you know, and because
the corporate America taking their money, taking their land, and moving right in. Absolutely, dude. And I actually can't wait to talk to you about a little bit of the set director and everything like that, and some of the things that were used. But real quick, we have 9 Lives in Hell here, $5 super chat. He says, "Hey, Bat Channel, where's that cowboy hat? Maybe that will help your chances with Wonder Wife." And not to move away from 9 Lives in Hell here, Wonder Wife confirmed and said, "Haha, you're not wrong, 9 Lives." So it's not looking good for you, Trey. If you want to go get your cowboy hat, or hey, Wonder Wife, bring him his cowboy hat to give him his dignity back.
Ouch!
I know you're watching it right now.
That means I would have to switch headphones, and that'd be difficult. I can't do that.
Just put it on his head real quick and give him a quick kiss there, Wonder Wife. So,
oh my!
But 9 Lives in Hell here. This one. Let's see. Let's do. This one's for you, Trey. You just entered with 9 Lives in Hell here. Her $5.
I've entered the suck zone.
The $5 super chat here. You've entered the suck zone. And let me explain to you what the suck zone is.
The suck zone is the point, basically, at which the twister sucks you up.
Oh gosh, that's
thank you so much, 9 Lives in Hell. I appreciate the suggestion, and more importantly, I appreciate you help supporting the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund.
Absolutely,
helping out those who've been hurt by tornadoes at my own expense, with making fun of me. But that's cool. That's part. If I could raise $1 million just because people are making fun of me for a good cause, I'll take it.
Hey, Wonder Wife, just saying, there's a town nearby here that does a rodeo every single night in the summer. Just throwing it out there. So if you need more rodeos in your lives, you know what to do. World needs a little bit more cowboys. Thank you so much, King Donkey Content. Really great discussion, and Dad Pool with us. Shout out to emergency managers. But wanted to get to Kaiju 1954 here. Kaiju Crazy Craig Roland. Can't talk today. Fire of Love is a 2022 movie that is revolving around a volcano. So I haven't seen it. Maybe it should be something that we should look into a little bit more in the future. But I think one of the great things that this story did, Trey, as far as Twisters go, is they brought you right back to the feeling and essence of the original Twister, in that because Twister was really the start of those natural disaster movies. If you think about it, you got volcano, earthquake, some of the all the different things that were popping up in the 90s, So I think it did a fantastic job of bringing me right back into the suck zone, Trey.
I agree, and we'll actually talk about that in comparison to other natural disaster films, because Twisters did something very interesting. But before we get to there, is there anything else, Corey, that you want to personally discuss about the Twisters story? I mean, I think all in all, to have there was certain. Well, all right.
Well, let me ask you this, Trey. Is there a flaw to the story that you see?
To me, there was.
I love to hear it, because
Okay.
I don't see it.
All right. And to your point, you're not wrong. They never lied to us about this movie. They were very clear that it was independent and singular to, while it was within the universe of Twister, it was very much its own separate thing. Now, I couldn't help but feel like there was a missed opportunity with that. And where I get with that is one of the movies that this film was being compared to was Top Gun Maverick. You could say maybe that's because Glenn Powell was in it. You could say maybe it's because it was, a film that came out 20 years prior, and they're now bringing up a new film to this franchise, a reboot in a sense. Or maybe the writer, Joseph Kosinski, who did write and direct Top Gun Maverick. You could say it's all those things. But to me, I think what Top Gun Maverick did so well was honoring the past because it was a direct sequel and having some of those powerful cameos like Val Kilmer's Iceman I really felt like this film could have benefited all the more, and it almost seemed like it fit. I think Kate's mom should have been Helen Hunt's character. Personally, to me, it was just like it was so setting up for it. It would have been that little bit of fan service. To me, the simple fact that really the only fan service or reference we got to this movie with the previous Twister movie is just Dorothy, and it's really kind of a passing side note where it's just like, yeah, this theme's old, and it's clearly the one they used in the past, from the 1996 movie. And to me, it's like the fact that they didn't even mention the scientists that, really advanced the Twister technology and a alarm system that happened. It kind of was, to me, that was a bit of a letdown. That was a little bit of disappointment where it would make sense that this character, Kate, who kind of is already doing the things that like Bill Paxton's character did with the extreme, with picking up the dirt, she kind of has that spiritualness and that Twister whisperer about her that it makes sense that she would have been the daughter of those two from the previous movie. So I personally feel like the fact that there wasn't a little more fan service to the previous film was a missed opportunity, and I'm kind of curious why they didn't do it. Like, if maybe, from what I heard, Helen Hunt says she was never asked to be a part of it in any way, which I feel like was a mistake. Even if she wasn't Kate's mom, I think it just would have been smart to, what they did in the 1996 film, if it was a part of this universe, would have been revolutionary to what they did for the alarm notification system for Twisters, right? Because of the data they received. But really, it just feels like they didn't do enough in 1996. Like it's an afterthought. And that, to me, was probably one of the biggest letdowns of the story.
I would disagree that it was an afterthought. I never took that at all. This was a whole different science project. In the original Twister movie, they were trying to advance notification time. This one, they were trying to tame tornadoes. So I don't know if I agree with that they looked down upon them at all.
I'm not saying so much that they looked down upon them, but because they kind of said multiple times that, like, hey, there was really no warning. There wasn't a good warning system, and we got hit. To me, it kind of negates what the whole purpose of the 1996 film was, which was to create a better warning system for Twister.
Yeah, but how long ago was that? How long was 96, Trey?
True, but like, you don't mean to tell me it got a little better in their understanding about it. And they do show the science side that they have learned a lot about tornadoes in the last 20 years. But to me, you don't feel the impact of the scientific advancements they made in 1996. Like, to even mention, like, maybe Tyler Owens could have said, I once I got, interested in tornadoes, I started reading everything that Bill's and Helen Hunt's character did, to really understand and to see how
would that have been enough for you anyways?
Maybe. I don't know. To me, it just not to have it at all, I think, was a little bit more of a problem.
I think they told you right from the get-go, Trey, that it was a standalone film.
I mean, they did,
So
and
you
they
knew
did
what
it.
you knew what you were getting yourself into. That this was going to be its own entire thing. So I know what you're trying to say. I think that this director, like we saw, he wanted to make his own film with this IP, and he did it using a whole new characters, everything like that, and it did just fine. So I think they still, I I think they did more reflections back to the Twister show movie more than you think.
To
If
me,
you think about
it was more tonally of how they did
Yes.
reflections back, which I
Yes.
appreciated that because they
Yes.
definitely built off of what made the first movie so great. Corey, let me put it this way. If they would the movie have benefited or be better in your mind if there was some more references, if there was more fan service, if they did have an Iceman like cameo situation with Helen Hunt? Do you think it don't think like, well, is it like if it would be in this movie? Just saying, if it was in this movie, if there was something of that level with Helen Hunt, would this movie be better for it or worse?
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I don't know if she works as Kate's mom personally.
And I feel bad to say that because Kathy's character, played by Maura Tierney, I think her name, she was a lovely character. I loved her personality. I loved her relationship with Kate, and how she's kind of given her the elbow to Tyler. So I feel guilty saying something like that because
that's what I'm saying. Like, she did a fantastic job.
She was awesome.
I don't know. Maybe like, oh, cool. It was, it's her, it's, that's the mom. Okay, cool. But like in some ways too, I know kids have to learn their own things, but does it be like, oh, Kate is having a tragedy now with a tornado, like a next generation tragedy with a tornado. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, oh, it just keeps hitting this family, are we getting like Jaws 2 where the tornado is chasing, Kate and her family,
No, I mean, it's not a Jaws reference
like
at all, because in a way, Kate is putting herself in that situation, right? It's not like where the shark is going out of its way from Jaws revenge to get the Brody family, it's going all the way down to Cuba to pick him up, or Jamaica. I mean, she is chosen to be a tornado, meteorologist, a storm chaser. So no doubtedly she's putting herself in harm's way.
I guess ultimately I see your point. I see what you're trying to say, but like on the flip side too, like I don't know if I like what we've seen, and with it being a standalone film, I don't see an issue with how Kate's mom did. Like, she did such a fantastic job. Like you said, you feel guilty for saying it.
But see, this is where I say, like, maybe it didn't need to be like Helen Hunt didn't need to be Kate's mom or anyone's mom, but to maybe even have her in there somewhere would have been cool,
But is that going to be enough for you? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, Helen Hunt's role was so huge in Twisters 1, like immediately you're going to want to see her, do something where the tornado.
I mean, we only got one scene with someone like Iceman from Val Kilmer. Did we really need? And now, granted, his impact in that movie and his story was much greater, but I still feel like okay, for as great as Kathy's character was, if you're telling me that there was an opportunity that it should have been Helen Hunt's character, then I think I would still move that direction.
Well, let me ask you this, Trey. When you're trying to create your own story, own idea and movie that's using the same IP that's also beloved theme, are you going to care about the new characters that you're trying to create enough versus the old character. So like what I'm saying, right? For example, you know, they put Yoda and Ki-Adi-Mundi in Star Wars Acolyte, and we could care less about all the other characters now. We were just like, oh man, what did he do to this, you know, this person there and everything like that. You know, really, you know, with how dominant of a role that Joe was in Twister.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard. It would be hard. Like, what do you do? Is she now the director of Noah? You know, like and if she's in, but they don't really use Noah that much, except in the first beginning of it. You know, maybe she calls in to it. You know, like I guess I just don't know how you would add in and still be satisfied with the amount that you get of Helen Hunt, if that makes sense. Because, like, for example, like the thing that made Top Gun Maverick so great is, you know, Helen Hunt's character is kind of like Maverick's character, you know, like she is the story. So if you don't have Maverick in the entire movie, what are we doing here? So you know, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Bill Paxton, rest in peace.
I still think there's a place, and I think the question of like, well, how much do you need of it to I think, to me, if I didn't see that there was a clear story where they couldn't have a returning cast member that is within this world, then I would have ignored it. But to me, watching the movie, I was like, clear there, that is clearly made for this character.
Well, like,
you know,
like,
I was able to see it.
And I still hear what you're saying, but like you said that she should be, you personally say that she should be her mom.
To me, it made sense because for the knowledge that Kate has and her initial passion that comes from wanting to study twisters and to create different technology to help people, you know, to tame a tornado. To me, to have that behind the scenes motivation that she knows what it did to her mom.
But are you honestly going to tell me that when Kate and Tyler leave with all the equipment to tame a tornado, that Joe would have been in that truck with them?
But see, like, could you say, like, why wouldn't you do that then? Like, why wouldn't you put them involved in it a little bit? You know, why not?
Because are you trying to create your own story? Or are you trying to just run off of what the original one did? That's what I'm saying, Trey. I feel like we're getting into like a dangerous territory of like, if we're going to allow for movies to create their own, you know, story to an IP and be separate from it, we need a lot to be.
I know what you're saying because you're kind of repeating it, but like, I guess my thing is with it, Corey, is that which audience are you trying to bring to the theaters here? How are you, like, why wouldn't this be just some other natural disaster movie? It's just another tornado movie like Into the Storm. You're purposefully trying to bank off of the fact of how people loved the 1996 movie, and they're going to show up to support this movie because they love that original movie. So if you're already being like, hey, 1996 fans, come on down, check out the Twisters movie, we're in the same world, and then to just be like, all we got for you is Dorothy. Wouldn't you be kind of like, you made me drive to the theater? Now, lucky for us, it wasn't just it just wasn't a movie that they tried to slap on a title and said, hey, it belongs in the universe. It was actually a really damn good movie. And I don't want you to get lost on that fact, because I think you're taking it a little personally that I'm kind of coming at it in a sense that, like, I think it would have benefited from Helen Hunt. And I'm still saying it's a good movie.
What I'm trying to ask is, They said this movie was a standalone film.
I mean, they weren't really.
What I'm trying to ask is, I don't know if just her being her mom would have been enough. That's what I'm saying. Like, you haven't proposed like an interjection.
I mean, well, I don't want to spend an hour explaining how I would integrate Helen Hunt's Joe character into Twisters, because I mean, that's not what we're doing here. We're reviewing it into the sense where
Hey,
I'm
you
just
read
saying
it-
I felt like it was a missed opportunity, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
To have more than what they did. All they had was Dorothy. That was essentially it. And I heard
I think that was totally fine.
and I heard the animators went behind the director's back and they added a cow somewhere into one of their tornadoes to be funny. But I didn't see where that scene was if
I
it
didn't see that
happened.
either
But
as well.
nonetheless, me personally, I think for me, it would have benefited a little more if there was a little more fan service. So without being further ado, let's talk about the cast, Corey. What did you think of our new Storm Chasers?
Awesome. Completely awesome. Glenn Powell, the Tornado Wrangler, was fantastic. He gave you that Reed Timmer vibes. The rest of the crew gave off the original Twister vibes there as well. So you felt like there was that Dusty was there as well. You had your rabbit feeling vibes as well. So I think the casting behind the Tornado Wranglers team was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the biggest thing, like you said, Corey, of having, like you said, tonally, they were able to bring back the essence of the 1996 Twister, but give it a new flair because of that Storm Chasers group. They do remind us kind of our 1996 crew. You got kind of that Dusty, you got kind of Rabbit in there, and then the rest of the crew. And I really appreciated, more importantly, sometimes you can tell when character reactions feel unauthentic and it feels unnatural, it feels forced. To me, it actually felt like these people have been friends for a long time, and that is part of creating the ability of belief and rooting for those characters. So I loved the cast. Corey, I'm sure I don't even need to say it, but was there anyone who stood out to you as just like, oh my God, this is my character,
Glenn Powell, oh yeah. He was the best. Gave you those Reed Timmer vibes. He just made it fun. He made it exciting. He made it, made me want to go chase tornadoes right after the movie. So Glenn Powell by far was, he stole the show. That said, Kate was freaking amazing as well. Loved Kate. Thought, the way all of them looked at the tornadoes, at these twisters, just their, the mystery, the in awe of these tornadoes, the way they look at them was fantastic. I thought, like I said, the crew was phenomenal as well. Even Boone's crew, or not Boone, Javi.
Yeah.
Anthony Ramos's character, Javi. Even his crew, I think that were pretty good as scientists and such like that. David Cornsweet did a fantastic job being a dick throughout the entire show, and it's like the perfect way to show, in a big movie, big role that going to have a lot of eyes on it, how you are as an actor. So just a robot, man. He did a great job being a robot in the movie, and exactly what should be the next fake Superman. So
I was waiting for it.
Of course, but though I thought he did a fantastic job being that jerk, but being that Carrie Ellis character, where people.
Jonas Miller. Yeah.
That we don't really like him, I thought David Cornsweet actually did a really good job being that character of Jonas. So Barry doesn't really care about the people, just cares about himself, about the money behind everything like that. And He even had some funny moments like, oh, and we have to deal with a Mr. Personality back here, and just that smile that you get from him, well, had me laughing a little bit as well. So, yeah, so even as far as David Cornswell goes, I thought he did a good job in this movie of being the unlikable character. So,
I agree, dude. I think everyone, even if they didn't have a ton of screen time, like Dexter's character and Lily and even Katie O'Brien, who we've seen in some Star Wars show, she plays Danny. They were all able to, with the small amount of time they had on screen, and you were able to care about them, to really be invested in those characters and really get their personalities that really kind of fit with the banter, the relationships with each other, and their motives. Just really nicely fleshed out characters. And I personally loved, I agree, Corey. I think the person that really steals the show is Glenn Powell's Tyler Owens, but also Daisy Edgar Jones, who plays Kate.
Yes.
Their relationship, the banter, the flirt, like that little bit of flirting going on, but not a forced relationship, right? Like, we know a lot of the times Hollywood kind of has these check boxes of what makes a good movie in their eyes. And one of them is like, you have to have a love relationship, right? A love interest in here. And while it wasn't like full on, like, oh, kissy kissy, we're together, we're boyfriend girlfriend kind of thing at the end of the movie, it felt genuine. Their care for each other, the interest they have in each other is so relevant to the story and to pushing their story along, that to me, you didn't need to have the kissing scene, right? The fact that at the end of the movie, she's still kind of toying with him, still kind of playing with him, and she's just like, hey, if you feel it, chase it. And he's confused by it, because every time she's told him something, it's kind of been like, wait, is she telling me the scientific truth? Is she telling me this, or is she messing with me? And I love that he just gets in the truck and he's just kind of staring and like thinking, like, wait, was that her way of telling me make a move, or is she messing with me? And
in some ways, she reflected what the Twister is to him. That mysterious,
unpredictable thing,
unpredictable thing, which made it so much fun. And same vice versa with him as well, too. Like, he was unpredictable. Excuse me, as well. So, it was great seeing that reflected between their relationship as well.
I agree. And I think all the more it just made their relationship and the chemistry with them in particular shines through this movie, and it felt genuine. It was a genuine performance all around, and I loved that so much.
At first you feel a little bad for Javi, because you feel like that he might have something a little bit for her, but then when Tyler Owens shows up, there's no fending off that guy. Look at you.
Well, what's even great about that, because I got the same sense too, Corey, that there was maybe something going on with Javi and his feelings towards Kate. And what I partly loved about that is they kind of explained it a little bit too. Like, those two, they went through tragedy together. They went through some hardships, and in a way, he's trying to make it right too, and he's trying to help her get out of her shell. To like, hey, he's hell bent on having her on his team, and there's no one else. There's no one else that can do this. And I feel like the motive that is really driving his story is what he says to her at the diner. Is where he's like, hey, do you ever wonder why we were the ones to live and not them? And I feel bit
of survivor feelings going on.
Survivor guilt, but not only that, kind of that sense of we owe it to the people we've lost to make this right, to make this better, to help people, to solve this problem, to actually give it, her dream, her scientific test a shot, to really go for it, because we don't want their deaths to go in vain. And I feel like that, especially, it's a bit of a redemption arc for our main characters, but more importantly, it's about overcoming your fear. And I love it's kind of the driving force of, you know, kind of this Midwestern American lifestyle. And I think that just goes to show that the cast really did their homework. I think people like Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar, and Anthony Ramos really did some research with storm chasers and understood what it was like to live in the tornado alley, and it felt real. It felt genuine. It felt authentic. That scene was hot. Oh my god. Oracle, I'm just gonna have to send you like a poster or something of Glenn Powell. I don't know.
Face your fears. You ride them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so kudos to the cast. Now, Corey,
A cutout cardboard, please.
a cutout
She needs one of those fat heads, like with the like that life size.
that you like slap on a wall. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I'm gonna get
He's
one for Wonder Wife
dreaming.
too.
Corey, now you and I had talked about that this was a bit of a fear for us going into this movie, that like if they didn't throw their actors into the shit, you know, if they didn't throw ice at them, if they didn't, you know, blow their hair and like, you know, their clothes, you know, just being drenched in rain, that it was going to feel like a cheat, that they needed to be put through the same crazy practical effects that they did with the first Twister movie. And it looked like they did, man. It was wonderful. The CGI of the tornadoes, which I heard they actually had Lucas Light and Magic actually, you know, videotape Twisters and kind of incorporate that into their CGI. So while some of it is animation, it's really pulling through real data and design and looks to it. And honestly, it felt very authentic with the special effects. Would you agree, Super Bro?
Absolutely, man.
What did
Special effect. What?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were we gonna say?
You're going on to somewhere, and I was going to start asking about the gadgets that we saw the storm chasers use, but I think you were about to say something cool.
Yeah, I was actually going to go, you know, kind of more into the weather aspects of
Yeah, go for it.
First, so one of the things the director said, and I've heard Kojay bring this movie up, but director Chung said he's never really done a movie before that had these types of special effects in it. So he was a little nervous about it. So one of the things that he did in preparation for this film was he watched the movie Seven Samurai, which I know Kojay's mentioned before.
Seven Samurai is what encouraged George Lucas with Star Wars. So yeah, that's
Absolutely
cool.
right. And also the movie Ron with there for as well. So for the win aspect side of things. So those movies definitely helped, you know, kind of create that feeling and vibe as well. The tornado, I think, sounded absolutely amazing. You know, it sounded scary. It sounds like they used the combination of a wolf, seals, and horses sounds for the tornado this go around. So I think those were really good choices as well. And then, you know, the special effects was definitely another thing that we were really hoping for as well, too. Or not you know, we wanted that real life stuff as well. And one of the things I didn't know, Trey, was the set director for Twisters is the same set director for Twister 1. So he came back. Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
We'll have to look it up. I should have wrote that down in my notes. Let me pull it up. You say something real quick.
Yeah, I personally, in terms of the special effects, like you could see, we also watch a little bit behind the scenes of them working on the sets of Twisters to see that they actually were throwing chunks of ice at them. They had giant fans blowing them around. I mean, of course, they went a little bit bigger, badder, with actually tossing people around a little bit, which I thought was really, really cool. But to add some of those elements that we see our modern day storm chasers have, you know, with like Reed Timmer's, Corey, I'm totally spacing the car's name that he has, the tank.
The Dominator.
The Dominator, thank you. Yeah, with having the Dominator with drilling in the ground.
For those who don't.
It just show a picture because video. We've been getting copyrighted lately from showing other people's videos.
Eh.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. But yeah, man. It's so Corey. Did you find out who it was?
I can't find it. I should have wrote his name down. I figured you would have asked. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. But in a interview with Chung, he said that he was really, one of the things that he was upset about in the first Twister movie is that Wakita scene that showed the destruction, like how it was just like how they destroyed the entire, town type thing. You still there, Trey?
Yeah, I'm listening. Yep. Mm-hmm.
How they, I wasn't sure if I was lagging there for a second, how they destroyed the entire town. Well, he said that he kept telling them, Chung, that he didn't do as good of a job as he wanted to. There was things that he was missing out of it, and there's things that he wanted to prove about it. So he's been thinking about this for, decades. So when he did it, he obviously, went full out in those scenes and everything of the tornado wreckage, like he saw, and different things like that, even to the point where the director said they were hauling in real life tornado wreckage into their sets as well. So like stuff that was actually torn down, trees and such like that were torn down from tornadoes, or like, roofs and different things like that. They were actually hauling that stuff in, what the director said, into this new film. So like some of the stuff that you're seeing is actually real life, like tornado wreckage, which is just like, man, it just brings to the, like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
Out to it all. So, super impressive, intense, like you guys are all saying right now. So, I thought the special effects were fantastic in this film. Oh gosh, I lost the term, Trey. This was shot in what film? It was shot in
IMAX. What do you mean?
Oh no! I can't think of. Oh man, I can't believe I'm spacing this, dude. It's the like type of film, like old, like you can either shoot it digitally or you could shoot it in.
Analog?
No. Man,
I don't know.
Come on, Trey. You shoot it in film. What's what camera was it shot with?
You're the one who looked it up.
35 millimeter. Goodness gracious. I don't know why I was struggling with that so much. So Twisters was shot in 35 millimeter, which is fantastic because, sometimes the digital world, all the CGI and everything like that doesn't look as like true and clean, where directors are actually preferring that 35 millimeter because the CGI and such looks better. And sure enough, did the tornadoes look realistic? The CGI I thought looked pretty flawless in this film, and all the special effects. On top of that, it was a smart choice to use the 35 millimeter versus the digital stuff. So impressive there as well.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely went to show just the quality that we got with it, which for as good as even the 1996 Twister movie is, I remember while I was watching it the other day, you could tell it's starting to get a tad dated, but it's still really incredible. So seeing a film like this that had the budget it did to really bring you in Tornado Alley, essentially, it was so cool. And I think they nailed it. So our fears of, were they really going to put the actors through the shit, and throw ice at them and drench them and, really create some authentic, genuine tornado experiences? I think they nailed it personally. Corey, would you agree?
Absolutely, buddy.
Yeah. So I know you've been wanting to talk about, let's go ahead and let's talk about the director. You've already kind of brought him up a little bit, but Lee Isaac Chung, man, I feel like what you said earlier, that he is a Midwestern boy, so he knows exactly how people would react in these situations. He knows, I loved how you did kind of have that throughout the entire movie. You had some people who took it seriously. Some people were like, oh, it's not a warning. Like it's half the time it's always fake, and people not like taking some of that stuff seriously. And then those who do, and you could just tell every scene was handled with care, especially the disaster scenes with, the people, the extras that are dealing with, their destroyed homes and things like that. Everything was done with purpose and an acute attention for details and authenticity. I think that's so important. You can tell when someone is just making a movie to make a movie, make it a quick buck. But this felt personal in a way. And I think that goes to show just the love and respect that this director had. And I thought the cinematography was beautiful. The wide shots that we got with the tornado, the inside the truck with Tyler Owens, as the tornado passes through, just some really cool, intense scenes and a lot of emotional layers to this movie. And I think that goes to just praise Lee Isaac Chung. So I know he hasn't done a ton of directing before, but if this is any inkling of what this guy can do, he's in for a really good career.
Yes, absolutely. I think the thing that impressed me so much about I'm not sure if it was Vanity or who it was, but if you look up Twister's director inspirations behind Twisters, you'll get inside his mind, and it's fascinating. Like, he was really prepared, really organized, really thought every step of this way through, and that's why this standalone film did so well. So I was really impressed with that side of thing, and especially that, the thing that drew him to Twister, to make a Twister movie, was his real life experience and dramatic experience with a Twister as well. So he said he recalled seeing, that opening scene where, family on the farm runs in the middle of the night to a shelter, and right then and there he got hooked because that's what he experienced with his family. So that's what drew him to make a Twisters movie someday. Now, I actually looked him up, Trey. He to see if there was like anything else that I knew that he's done. Nothing for me. He talked about the movie Minari a lot. I never saw Minari, but there is one thing that he's done before, Trey. That we have seen. He directed a single episode of The Mandalorian in season 3, episode 3, which was the convert, which was the Coruscant former on Coruscant former the Imperials were finding amnesty with the New Republic. So
he did that episode. And remember, I actually said I thought that was like a very interesting side to add to the Mandalorian to get that element of what's going on in the Republic. He answered some questions for me about that's cool.
Yes. So clearly he has a fantastic mind as a creator. Season 3, episode 3. So it's like chapter 19. He's going to be a director to watch because, again, for a standalone movie, this movie killed.
Corey, I'm actually so happy you said that he is a director to watch. And for all those who are waiting for our, Trey, how is this movie a Hollywood upset? I'm going to tell you why exactly this film is the Hollywood upset movie of the year. Is because it did not follow the standard Hollywood agenda. It did not bend to what Hollywood wants these summer blockbusters, these big movies with these big IPs to do, which is to cram a lot of agenda, a lot of hidden messages that they try to do, whether it's pushing different themes that really have nothing to do with a story, or just trying to cram something down your throat that they haven't done already. And we've always said, Super Bro Corey and I, that the worst thing you could do is when you push an agenda over a story. The story always has to come first. And where I bring that up is Hollywood Reporter was actually starting to throw some shade at the Twisters movie right before it came out. They had this headline, this Heat Vision headline that said, "Why Twisters refuses to mention climate change. This is a disaster movie. They need to be addressing this." Like, how? Like, how do they not explain that? It's science.
Another one said, "Experts slam lost opportunity as disaster film Twister fails to mention."
You had an opportunity here to push this down people's throat. A big film like this, why wouldn't you do it? And
MSNBC, CNN,
everyone in Hollywood was all of a sudden they were trying to tear down this movie, and it was all because that they weren't going to push this storyline, right? This whole thing that it's the thing that's causing all the tornadoes, which isn't conclusive, by the way. They even mention it in the Hollywood Reporter article that says, there's debates among scientists, and it seems like the generic agreement is that climate change could be affecting tornadoes, but it's not conclusive. So basically saying it's not facts. But let's go ahead and throw it down people's throats anyways. They asked Lee Isaac Chung, why didn't you address this? Why didn't you add this as a part of your story? Because it makes sense that if you're going to do a weather disaster movie that you would talk about the thing that Hollywood wants you to talk about. And here's what he says. To director Lee Isaac Chung tells it, he says, even such a throwaway reference would be like beating red state moviegoers over the head with a DVD copy of An Inconvenient Truth, which is the movie all about climate change. And it says from Lee Isaac Chung, he says, "I just wanted to make sure that with the movie, we don't ever feel like it was putting forward any message. I just don't feel like films are meant to be message oriented." And he says, the article goes on to say, there's a scene where a local farmer played by Maura Tierney says that the storms and floods are being more frequent, but she doesn't mention climate change. How? Why wouldn't you do this? And he responds, "I think what we are doing is showing the reality of what's happening on the ground. We don't shy away from saying that things are changing. I wanted to make sure that we are never creating a feeling that we are preaching a message, because that's certainly not what I think cinema should be about. I think it should be a reflection of the world." So pushing the story first, not trying to, like, we hear it all the time, especially from all the news outlets that try to push what they think should be the important story. But that's not what this story is about. It's not about what's causing the tornadoes. It's about these people overcoming tragedy. It's about how we can find our redemption, our mission, and try to help people, and they do say some things, right? It's not a film completely without messaging. It shows villains who are humans, who are benefiting and profiteering off of the tragedy of others, who are losing their homes to disaster. But they never once pushed and preached a political message, because it has become political and controversial, whether you agree with it or not. It came to be the story first. And now the Hollywood Reporter tried to tear it down right before it came out. And people are saying, "Oh, it's only going to have a $50 million box office opening." Well, guess what? It broke records. An $81 million opening for Twisters. It did exactly what Top Gun Maverick was able to do, because Top Gun Maverick, that was another movie. They're like, well, how come they didn't really address who the villain is? Like, is it North Korea? Like, what's going on here? Like, they don't really go into these political discussions. It's because they pushed the story first. The story was about Maverick and his guilt with Goose and Rooster's dad, and building that relationship back with them and letting him go to be his own person. And you know what? The audience showed up for it. And once again, the audience is enjoying this movie. They're showing up for it because it's just a great film about characters, and that's what people want. So really, kudos to Lee Isaac Chung, because man, I'm proud of him for not giving in, doing what Hollywood would have wanted him to do, which was make it about climate change. It was about the story. Whether he made it a part of the story or not, it's just the fact that he said, I'm not doing that to just throw something in people's faces. I'm here to tell a story to entertain people, to give them a sense of escape, right? And the audience showed up, and it became the biggest box office opening since I think it was The Day After Tomorrow, Corey, where it only opened up to like 50 million.
Wow. You know,
that is why it's the Hollywood upset.
Absolutely, and that's impressive too. And I think that's what makes things so annoying with Hollywood and other people nowadays. Like I read these headlines. Why Twitters refuses to mention climate change, and the stunning silence at the heart of Twisters, and just like how people are just like slamming this movie.
Yeah.
When all the director wanted to do was put together a good story. And that's all that matters. Put forward that good story and entertain the consumer. I don't, if I want to look at what's happening, in the news and everything like that, and how horrible this world is, and what's going on right now, I could turn on these crappy news stations and see firsthand what's going on and everything like that. So, absolutely, I'm glad that he, stood up to that nonsense and the pressure that Hollywood and other people may have put on for this. Similar to I think of Top Gun Maverick. That there was pressure about removing one of the patches off of Maverick's jacket.
Oh yeah.
The Taiwan flag patch and joint cooperation there. So, because it made China upset.
Yeah.
Like I'd have some, I had to pause there because there's some choice words that could have followed easily, but forget all this, bullshit, drama-driven, agenda-driven garbage, like a certain television series that we just recently watched where they got to the point where we're trying to make it more agenda driven. We're trying to force these issues into a story versus let the story stand for itself.
Yes.
Let it be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Hey, it just goes to show you that Hollywood truly doesn't understand the audience and what they want. And it's even more proof that if you want to talk about, well, Hollywood's not about pushing agendas or forcing or preaching anything. They literally just tried it. They just told their outlets, their news outlets, to tear down a movie that didn't even come out yet. Literally right before it came out, they're not mentioning climate change. Why is that important? How's the story? How's the movie? And I'm not going to make this a thing like, well, if you believe climate change, if you don't believe climate change, I don't care what you believe. You are entitled to believe whatever you want to believe. Just like there's some people out there who believe that it's a flat earth. Ben. Ben.
You need to clip this for him.
But we've always said, it's why every time I do a show about a breakdown, the first thing we always talk about when it comes to the movie, story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it should always be about.
Right. And, and I think that's where, like I definitely get so fired up and heated at Hollywood, because when there are times where, maybe there's a little bit of a message driven movie, Sound of Freedom, they're either quiet or they try to hide it, or they bash it with their 50% Rotten Tomato scores of it all. So it's like, no, I could care less what the hell you have to say, Hollywood. Stay the hell out of everything. And I just don't respect Hollywood, bro. Like, they're Hollyweird to me.
Yeah, and I think hopefully this is I hope this is the start of something new with Hollywood because they should be taking notes. You have a movie like Top Gun Maverick, didn't really address any political agendas. You have a movie, it was just a feel-good, great storytelling about a character that people loved.
Yep.
You know, and now you have another movie, no political agenda, just great storytelling, and people are showing up for it. And I hope people show up again, even though Deadpool and Wolverine are coming out this weekend. It's absolutely going to just slam at the box office. I hope this has the legs that Top Gun Maverick does, because it deserves it. It deserves
Absolutely.
to be profitable. It deserves to roll in the dough for Hollywood, you know, even though they produced it and they're against it. But clearly, salute to the director for standing his ground and to not like say, well, it's in there, you know, it's kind of in there. We kind of address it. You know, he came out and fully said, like, this is not what films are supposed to be about. Films are there to entertain people and to tell a story. He's like, and that's what I've done with this movie, and I stand behind it. So deal with it. You know, so Lee Isaac Chung, dude, you got a fan out of me. I don't even know if you do another film that is like no one knows what that film is. The IP is not something huge or, you know, that we've seen in the past. I will definitely be there to watch your next film.
You know,
and I'm going to be checking out your previous movies.
Yeah, you know, I think we should check out Lee Isaac Chung's Minari movie. You know, this needs to be a director, you know, that he stood up to care about for his care for his story, to make sure his story is, you know, genuine and true. And I can't appreciate that enough from him. So as certain somebody would say, we will watch your career with great interest here at the Bad Channel. That's that's for sure. So definitely going to be checking out some of the old films, and you know, maybe if we like it, maybe we do a watch party or something like that, just to continue to show support him as well. So,
and I love what Red Hood Outlaw he's down for it. He loves hashtag the Hollywood upset, because that's what this movie was. In every right, it did not want, you know, Hollywood did not want this film to like be as big as it is, and the fact that it broke records for natural disasters movie, they were actually expecting this movie, they were hoping it would make 50 million, which is modest, right? Like you can tip your hat to that and be like, good job. You know, this film did 80 million. It surpassed expectations. Even on the high end, they were kind of like, it'd be great if it could hit 70, add $10 more million to it, and they did it. You know, they brought the house down, and I hope it has the legs to withstand even longer. But thank you so much, Red Hood Outlaw, for your $5 super chat. That will be going to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund to help those who have been affected by tornadoes this year. So, Corey, can you play Red Hood a little something to say thank you?
It's the wonder of nature, baby!
It's the wonder of nature, the Hollywood upset, baby. Thank you, Red Hood Outlaw, for that $5 super chat. We appreciate you.
Know, yeah, man.
So much respect to the director. Good for him. He stood his ground. I hope it doesn't affect his career. Same here. Now that is impressive. Trevor H said, dude just became one of my favorite directors. He told Hollywood off. That's what made Hollywood great in the past. They were storytellers. Now they are just campaigners. Absolutely. We don't need any more campaign ads. I couldn't agree more. He stood up against his bosses and won. Hashtag the Hollywood upset. So, yeah, no, that's what Trey was meaning in that. But, yeah, I appreciate you bringing up that story. And, yeah, I much respect to him. And I'm looking forward to the last two things he's done. I've been a real big fan of, so I'm excited to watch his career.
I agree. Now, Corey, of course, we come to the end of our spoiler review of Twisters. I'm starting to get the sense, man, of where you're going with this movie. But if you had to score it, what would you score it?
Man.
And let us know in the chat as well, guys.
You know, I think about what you said, you know, and everything like that. And here's how I see it. This was a fantastic standalone movie. This was a movie that did a great job Great job creating its own story.
Mhm.
Great job of building its own characters to the story. There's so many twists and turns, so much excitement with the tornadoes and everything like that. I hear what you're saying, Trey, about potentially giving more nods to the original Twister, and yeah, that could have made it maybe a slight edge better. But this was a damn good story, Trey. It followed a lot, and it was it took us in twists and turns and everything like that. The characters did a fantastic job acting. The director did a fantastic job telling a story that was story driven. I'm having a hard time, not scoring this super high, Trey. Like I think back, like you said, Trey, what can we possibly do to make this movie better? What can we do to make it better? And sure, I can say, yeah, maybe Helen Hunt would have been awesome in there and everything like that. But I don't know, like it didn't change the fact that I love this movie, dude. And I'm so pumped about this movie. Like this movie got me so damn excited, Trey, about chasing storms and everything like that, where it's like, man, maybe it's time for a career change, Corey. And you know how much I love the job, buddy.
Yeah, I do. I know you have, but you like it.
I was like, man, I honestly, after each time I've seen this movie, I was like, damn, I wish I was on the road trip with Dad again and we were chasing some freaking tornadoes, man. Like it was just such a fun movie, and I'm having a hard time, Trey, taking away from what the movie is just because Helen Hunt wasn't in it. You hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I don't know what to score it, Trey. Like, I'm high nines though. I'm high nines. This is by far the summer blockbuster. This movie, with how fun it was, immediately propelled itself to my number one film of the year so far. I'm just going to say it out loud, and because I'm flexing back and forth. I don't know whether or not I'm going to give this a 9.9, Trey, because it 0.1 would have maybe made it better to have Helen Hunt in it, but in reality, it's a 10. This movie is, like it was a fantastic movie. The story was great. The characters were great. The actors did a fantastic job. The special effects were fantastic. The music, dude, ain't no love in Oklahoma. I've been listening to that on repeat for freaking days. Like I've been watching very closely Tornado Wrangler shirts, as well as Ain't My First Tornado shirts as well. Like I'm going to be purchasing some of that. Dude, the album, like I want the vinyl, and I don't even have a freaking vinyl player. So it's like I am all in on this movie. I had so much fun with it. I can't wait to see it again. I'm going to see it in Dolby, and then I'm definitely going to try to go see it over at the
Are you going to try to double ace it, Corey, like you did Top Gun Maverick?
I don't know if I'll get to double ace level just because there's a whole lot of other stuff coming out here soon, but I definitely will be watching it. I'll at least be an ace before this movie comes out, maybe more. That's how much I freaking love this film. So yeah, I'm just gonna stick with a 10, dude. That's where it is,
Corey giving a perfect score, huh?
Yeah. Well, this is the example, dude. This is the example of how you make a movie without using any of the original characters and executing it perfectly. This is how you do it. I love this movie, and maybe parts of it is because I live this life. I live the rodeo life. I live in the country, so maybe like it really hit home for me, but I loved it, dude. It was a blast. Number one movie of the year for me so far.
Number one movie of the year. Wow. And we got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out this weekend that everyone's hyping up about. That's insane. I'm curious to see how much it changed is for Super Bowl Corey. So if I had to score it, so Corey has heard my one of my criticisms. I was purposely saving this last one because I know this is personally a me thing. So I did say one of my criticisms, I wish there was a tiny bit more fan service. What that looks like, I have an idea of what that looks like in my mind, whether people agree with it or not. But I think the film could have benefited if there was just a little bit more. The other criticism I had for this particular movie, and I'm fully aware that this is something that is just my issue, because I'm the type of person that pays attention to this. While I loved the album of Twisters, you know, the Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, there's so many good tunes that came from that. So many good pop tunes, right? And country tunes, and even rock tunes from there. I disliked very much the soundtrack. And when I say by soundtrack, the compositions, like the strings, the literally the cinematic soundtrack, not the album songs, right? To me, here's another instance. While I get it's in its own universe, you're still using this universe, so therefore there's a bit of a musical language with it. It would be like making a Star Wars movie and not using John Williams music, or using music that is similar to it, like Michael Giacchino was able to do with like the Jurassic World movies. It still felt very much like Jurassic Park by John Williams or something of that essence. I felt like the soundtrack kind of, there's places where I felt like it did not match what was going on in the scene, that I was like able to take me out. And I, like I said, replay crew, I'm sure there's someone watching like, is this dude seriously complaining about soundtrack music? If you know who I am, I pay attention to soundtrack music. I love soundtrack music. I want to do that for a career. And to me, it's something that I pay attention to just because that's part of where I get my enjoyment from movies, is listening to the soundtrack. The album, absolute fire. The soundtrack, not to me. I almost wish it was just an all album score, because there's just some scenes where it was kind of playing like fast, happy string kind of thrill music that just didn't quite match the intensity and kind of the scare of the film. And I just happened to miss the original composer of Twister, Mark Mancini's score. And it's that helps kind of create that musical language of Twisters. But all in all, with that being said, I still thought that this movie had one of the best stories I've seen of 2024. It was done so well, cinematography wise, not pushing an agenda. You know, there's so many things I loved about it that I'm still in love with this movie. I can't wait to own it. I can't wait to go see it in theaters again. Originally I was stuck on the borderline of an 8-9 because of that, not having more references and fan services, and not having a score that I was really digging. But all in all, there's a lot of things I love about this movie. The cast is amazing, the story, but I think one of the things it needs to get a point for this. It needs to get a point for the director sticking up for his film and not letting the Hollywood pressure get to him and just bending into their will. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9-2. So yeah, that's my score. Corey, what's the rest of the chat saying?
Dude, that's a fair score. 9-2. I think it's a little low, but I think it's a fair score. Before we get to the chat, I want to show off this real quick. This is the Dominator. So this is Storm Chaser Reed Timmer has a new warehouse for his Storm vehicles, and that's the Dominator there. And as you can see, it's this massive truck that they put armor on the side, and it's low to the ground so it doesn't allow for wind to sweep underneath it. And then it even gets to the point where similar to like you see in Twisters, they shoot rockets at it. So they definitely pulled that from Reed Timmer. But the vehicle also shoots spikes into the ground when they are about to be run over by a tornado. So Reed Timmer the real life Tyler there. So real life Glenn Powell. So and hey, shout out to Reed Timmer. I honestly say, like, let's play a quick video of Reed Timmer stuff. So if he does see us, Trey, he'd be like, oh, what were they saying over on the Bat Channel? And my statement would be is, hey, Reed Timmer, what do I need to do to be able to go along with you and Dadpool and be able to ride in the Dominator with you? So I'm just going to throw that out there right now, Reed. So huge fan of you, and me and Dadpool want to ride in the Dominator 3. Maybe we'll even do some of your channel managing that you need help with, for free, to get a ride, or, who knows, like just throwing it out there, Reed. So if you feel it, chase it. But yeah, that's the first time I did a pitch to another channel to like hit me up and get me to be co-host, Reed. So like,
ouch.
Yeah, I'm trying to leave myself. No. No. I'm sure Dad's going to be excited about that. Sounds like SBC has a man crush. Oh gosh. Brown nose. Oh my gosh. Don't leave the Bat Channel. I would never leave the Bat Channel. But I do want to ride in that freaking theme, dude. That looks so cool.
It would be cool. I won't lie. That would be absolute hoot.
Right? Let's talk, Reed. Let's talk.
Corey, what's the chat saying for score?
Sure thing, buddy. Oracle's Clock Tower with a 9.5. Red Hooded Outlaw, it's a 9.8 now. 9.3 from Beyond the Night. 9.6 from The Butler. 9.69 for Glenn. Dadpool with a solid 10. Oh, yes. I love you, Oracle. Oh, I'm changing my score now to 9.69 for Glenn. Very nice. So everybody's changed. Oh, I didn't realize that the first time. Carrie Kelly, 9.69. So all the girls are changing to 9.69. That's fantastic.
Oh my god.
9 from Joker's Wild. I have to join the ladies.
Immature.
The Batman Who Laughs, 9.5. 9.4 from Dark Star Killer Unleashed. 9.2 from King Donkey Kong. 9.3 from Wayne Enterprises. 8.8 from Good Soldiers Follow Order 66. He said he liked the first one more, but it was really good. 9.5 from Kaiju Crazy Craig Rowland. 9.4 from Red Robin. 9.1 from the hashtag I can't talk today. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse Guide. 9.1 for him. Dad said Tornado Dodger versus Tornado Chaser. Hey, Dad, I'm down for that. Let's feel it and chase it. 9.5 from Bat Fanatic. Tamakaji 1954 says it hasn't released in Japan yet, so I can't score, but very excited to watch it.
Yeah, I think it releases in like August. So yeah, you'll have to let us know what you think. Even though you listened to our spoiler review, sir.
Yeah, 9.8 from Trevor H. Oracle's Clock Tower said she ordered the album. It's really good. Red Hood Outlaw said he bought it on iTunes, and that is saying something. Dude, I didn't even know who I don't really listen to the new country guys. I didn't, I've heard of Luke Combs before, but like never, I can't tell you one other song that Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. And dude, I'm going to check him out a little bit more. So like I love that song so much. Like Trey knows that the past week, the past few days, every time he logs on to StreamYard, we're Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. It's playing nonstop when he comes on. That's what I'm listening to. Yes, 9 Lives in Hell here at 10, but maybe obviously you guys are on to something with a 9.69. Holy hell, people were pretty surprised by the score. Oh my god, Super Bro 10 is perfect, and he's mad about a 0.8 difference. LOL. Yeah, no, I just think it's an awesome film, man. Sounds like Super Bro Corey has a man crush. Don't leave the Bat Channel. Corey's like, he is definitely feeling it, so he is going to chase it. Exactly. Exactly right. Man, and how about that too? Kind of thinking about it too. It kind of annoys me even more, thinking about what you said earlier about Hollywood being upset about this film, because if you think about it, they'd save the day. That town would have been wiped out, So they had a strong female character save the day, and they're going to be complaining about only
right. You want to talk about like kind of? I mean, even Glenn Powell wasn't the one that like he didn't save her. She was independent. She was strong and got the job done.
Mhm.
you know, and she's the one going around saying, I mean, he is too. I mean, they it's one of those scenes where once again, it doesn't demoralize men. It doesn't, demoralize women in any way either. They're both equal great
Badass
characters,
dude.
badass in
Mm.
every right of it. Like all the characters, all the cast. It was a diverse cast too, but it just wasn't. They didn't throw the agenda down your throat because they didn't need to, because that's not what people go to the movies for. Maybe some. I'm sure there's a small minority out there that does that, but people go to be entertained. And just like Lee Isaac Chung said, he made a movie, and that's what a movie is about. It's about the story. So bravo, man. Bravo.
The scores though that everybody put down.
Yeah, I agree. If anyone had something above an 8, I think this, even a low 8, I would say is a little. This film deserves a little more, but I think kudos. I'm gonna check real quick to see what Rotten Tomatoes the audience score is saying.
It's an interesting one, Trey.
All right, let's see here. So surprisingly, though, it is certified fresh currently by the critics. It's 76%. But oh wow, I was actually spot on with the audience score, dude. 92%. Me.
Oh yeah, good.
Wow, I'll take that.
Nice job, Trey. But with the official Bet Channel review, Trey.
With the official Bet Channel review, that puts us what? Are we technically 9?
It comes out a little bit higher, Trey. You're welcome.
9.5, 9.6. Is that where are we about? 9.5, 9.6?
That would be
9.45, something like that.
9.6.
9.6. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, deserving. Yeah, to me, I wouldn't bat an eye on that at all. But Corey, can you thank everyone real quick for all the super chats that will be going to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund?
Man, thank you guys. Trevor H, $4.99, a $5 super chat for If You Feel It.
Feel it, Jason! I said if you feel it, Jason!
I love it, man. We had Beyond the Night with a $5 super chat. Oracle's Clock Tower with a $10 super chat. 9 Lives in Hell here with a $5 super chat. Still saying that you should get on with that cowboy hat, Trey. Red Hooded Outlaw with a $5 super chat. So, bro, that is pretty awesome because that's another 30 some bucks raised for them. So you guys,
You don't face your fears. You ride them.
the battalion are the extreme. The extreme. Thank you so much, guys, for all those super chats. We really appreciate you guys. That's just so cool. How you guys are, really doing something, and man, I love them so much. Dude. Like, you think about, like our community does such a good job of wanting to help people, and like that's like such a big mission for us. And the way we want to create content for this channel as well. Hence the 10,000 subscriber goal. But man, it's just so cool that the battalion shows up every single day and wants to help as well. It's just so impressive to me, man.
I agree, and we can't thank you guys enough for helping us be a part of it in some way to make a difference. Like Beyond the Night says here, man. So thank you guys, seriously. And like I said, follow us on one of our social media pages, like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at _Bat Channel, because when we do get the check from YouTube, even though they take 40% out, we'll put it back in. I will make a post that says, hey, see, here you go, confirmation, you guys, your super chats went to the disaster relief fund. And I'm sure Corey and I will put something in there too to probably make it a nice round number to the next 100 or something. But just seriously, guys, we appreciate you, we love you. Replay crew, let us know your thoughts about the Twisters movie. What score would you give it? And if you have a sequel idea, let us know if you would want to see more Twisters movies and where you would go with it next. But curious to read your guys' comments and hear your guys' thoughts. But we appreciate you. We love you guys so much. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with the Bat Channel. We have some really cool shows coming up for you guys. So make sure It helps us out so much. When you guys smash that like, you share, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode, so you don't miss the cool shows like we have coming out, like the Deadpool and Wolverine reviews that we got going on this weekend. Next week, we'll be doing a lot of Batman Cape Crusader on Amazon Prime. And, of course, celebrating the 25th anniversary of one of our favorite shark movies, Deep Blue Sea, with Stephen Burrows, Thomas James, Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J. There's actually a lot of great actors in that. Even Stellan Skarsgård is in it, man. So join us. Corey's singing the song. He is singing. See, he can't be stopped.
Right in that store,
Can't be stopped. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I am your host, Trey, with the guy who's in the background, that guy, him, Super Bro Corey. And don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel. Hold on tight, guys. See you later.
Do you know what it's time to do, Trey? It's time for
Red meat, we crave sustenance.
Guys, we are not invading my aunt.
Food.
Food!
Hey, we're absolutely not going.
food. Trey, it's time for food. Have a good night, everybody.
Food.
We'll see you soon.
See you.
If you feel it, I said if you feel it,